My parents' Christmas tradition unalived my 6-year-old sister. I grew up with 11 siblings and parents who believed modern life was making kids weak. To toughen us up, they created their own twisted version of Christmas they called Survival Christmas. What started as their way of teaching character turned into something deadly. Instead of Santa bringing gifts, we'd be driven deep into the mountains on Christmas Eve and left there, alone for 3 days. They called it earning your Christmas. Their rule was simple: survive until we come back or don't come back at all. At first, it was just harsh. We huddled together, shared body heat, ate snow, and waited. My older siblings always protected the younger ones. We thought it was just one of our weird family traditions, something to joke about later. But every year, the rules changed, and it got worse. By the time I was 10, they began separating us into different locations. When my sister turned 12, they started taking away our winter coats. And when my little brother Jake was only 8, they dropped us off in below freezing temperatures wearing nothing but regular clothes. No gloves, no jackets, no food. What none of us knew then was that our parents were recording everything. They'd hidden cameras throughout the forest and were selling access to sick adults online. They branded it as extreme parenting content and charged viewers to watch children struggling to survive in the cold. Each year, the dangers increased, not by accident, but by design. Their so-called audience was getting bored and wanted more risk, more fear, more suffering. We later learned they'd made over $50,000 from this. They used that money to buy luxury items for themselves while we lived in second-hand clothes, scraping together meals day to day. My youngest sister, Lily, was the baby of the family, 6 years old, tiny for her age. She had a heart condition and required daily medication to stay stable. The doctors had warned our parents repeatedly she couldn't go without it, but that didn't matter to them. According to records, the viewers had started requesting to see the weak one be tested. To my parents, that meant profit. So, for her first survival Christmas, they left Lily alone. They dropped her 5 miles away from where the rest of us were abandoned, completely isolated. They took her heart meds and told her she'd get them back if she proved she was strong enough to survive without help. We didn't find this out until it was too late. That first night, we heard her crying through the woods. We screamed her name, tried to reach her, but the snow and rocks made it impossible. My brother Marcus broke his ankle trying to climb toward her voice. The crying continued until around midnight. Then it stopped. When our parents came to retrieve us on day 3, we led them back to where we'd last heard Lily. She was under a fallen tree, curled up, blue from the cold. Her tiny hands clutched a few wild berries. We later learned she'd eaten them trying to ease her hunger. She died from a combination of hypothermia and cardiac arrest brought on by stress and missing her medication. My parents called it a tragic accident, but when investigators reviewed the hidden footage, they saw the truth. The cameras showed my parents watching Lily struggle from the warmth of a cabin they'd rented nearby. They saw her collapse on day 2. They saw her cry, and they chose to do nothing. They were arrested immediately. In court, the footage was enough to sentence them both to life in prison. None of us protested. There was nothing left to say. The rest of us were placed in foster care, spread out across different homes. We barely speak. Most of my siblings still have panic attacks when the temperature drops. Some of them can't even look at snow without shaking. I still dream about that night, the sound of her crying through the trees, the silence that followed. We miss you, Lily.